All right, let's take a look at example 4. So we're multiplying polynomials again. In this case, it says to multiply x minus 1. So I'm going to write it out like this. X minus 1 times x minus 1 again times x plus 2 in a horizontal format, which is, again, probably the more traditional way to do it. So now, instead of having two things, I'm going to multiply three things together. Okay, so it just means that there is going to be more steps involved. So when I multiply things, I can really only multiply two things at a time. So what I need to do is I'm going to multiply, let's just say these first two things together. All right, I'm going to take x minus 1 times x minus 1, and I'm not really going to worry about that x plus 2 quite yet. Okay, so I'm going to do this in the horizontal format, which means I'm going to take this first term and I'm going to multiply it times the first term in there. That's going to give me x squared. And then I have to take x also times negative 1. So that's going to give me a minus x, or a minus 1x. And then I have to distribute the second term as well. So I have to take this negative 1 right here and multiply it to the x and also to the negative 1. So if I take negative 1 and I multiply it by x, I get a negative 1x, or just another negative x again. And if I take negative 1 times negative 1, I get plus 1. So again, I'm just going to work in the green, this green part first. I'm going to combine my like terms, and I'm going to get x squared minus 2x plus 1. And this is what I get when I multiply those two, x minus 1 and x minus 1. I'm still not done with the problem, because I have to take this x plus 2 right here, and I still have to multiply that. So I'm going to bring this down, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and multiply these together. Okay? So now my new task is to take this polynomial here and multiply everything out, kind of like we did that last problem, right? So I'm going to take and I'm going to distribute everything. Okay, so I'm going to start with x squared, and I'm going to distribute that and multiply it by x and 2. So I'm going to get x squared times x is x cubed, plus x squared times 2 is just 2x squared. Okay, so I did those first two. Then I'm going to go to the next one. So I got a negative 2x that I'm going to distribute. So negative 2x times x and negative 2x times 2. So negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. And then negative 2x times 2 is negative 4x. Keep on going. So now we're going to do the last one. So I'm going to take the 1, and I'm going to distribute the 1 to the x and also to the 2. So I'm going to have plus 1x, or just x, and then plus 2 as well. All right, so now I have kind of my final answer here, but I want to go ahead and clean things up by combining my like terms. So I can combine this one and this one. I have 2x squared minus 2x squared. That's just going to go away and give me 0x squared. So that completely goes away. I still have my x cubed here, which can't be combined with anything else there. So I'm going to have x cubed, bring it down. And then I have negative 4x and x. Those are like terms, so I'm going to take negative 4x plus 1x, which is negative 3x. And then the plus 2 there. So I'm going to say plus 2 at the end. And there is my answer for this problem. All right, and if you want to try one, here's one that you can try. A minus 5 times a plus 2 times a plus 6. You can go ahead and pause the video and try it. All right, so your answer should have been a cubed plus 3a squared minus 28a minus 60. So I'm actually going to walk through this one. I want to show you guys one more, I think kind of a popular method that you might have seen before, and that is what I just call the box method. So if we were doing this problem, we could only do multiply two parentheses at a time. So we would take a minus 5 and multiply a plus 2. So that'd be my first thing that I have to multiply. So of course we could, distribute this. We could do it horizontally. You could even do it vertically. Or we can use a box method. So you may have seen this before, and it's just another visual way that you can do this. So what you do with it is you take one of the parentheses, or one of the sets of terms of one of the parentheses, and you put them up top. So I'm going to say this is a, and this is negative 5. So when I have a minus 5, I could write that as a plus a negative 5. And if that helps you to write everything as an addition, go ahead and do that. So I have a and negative 5 on top. And then the second parentheses, I have a and 2. And all I do here is I then create rows and columns, and then I multiply each one of these rows and columns together to get basically the area of each box. It's kind of like an area model. So to get this box right here, I take a times a, which is a squared. To get this box right here, I take a times negative 5 to get negative 5a. To get this one right here, I take 2 times a, so 2a. And then to get this one here, I take 2 times negative 5 to get negative 10. So when I multiply this all together, I have to now add these terms up, right? I'm going to add these 4 terms up, combining my like terms. The only like terms that I have are right here. I have a 2a and a negative 5a. So the end result is going to be a squared. Now I'm going to add those up to get plus 2a plus a negative 5a is going to be negative 3a. And then minus 10, or again plus negative 10. You can write it with pluses if you want. If you don't want to, you can just say minus, whatever helps you the most. So all in all, when I take these first two things and I multiply them, I get this right here. So this times this is going to give me, let me just copy it over. It's going to give me this. And then what I have to do is I need to multiply it by the other, or the last parentheses here that I haven't touched yet, which is a plus 6. So here's my a plus 6 that I haven't multiplied yet. And just again to show you the box model, I could do the same exact thing. I could make a box. In this case, the first parentheses has 3 terms in it, so I'm going to make it a little bit longer. And the second parentheses has 2, so I'm just going to draw my box like this. And I'm going to write the terms on the sides here. So this is going to be a squared, negative 3a, negative 10. Again, it doesn't really matter which sides you write these polynomials on. That could go on the top or it can go on the side because you're going to be multiplying anyway. And then a plus 6, let's put that on top. A and then times 6. So if I use the box model here, I'm going to have, again, 6 multiplications, but this kind of lays it out nicely for me. So a squared times a is a cubed. A squared times 6 is 6a squared. Negative 3a times a is negative 3a squared. Negative 3a times 6 is negative 18a. Negative 10 times a is negative 10a. And negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. Okay, and so there's my answer. All these 6 terms there, but I have to add them together. So I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms while I do this. So you can see my like terms are going to be these a's and then also those right there. So my final answer will be a cubed plus, and now I'm going to take negative 3a squared plus 6a squared. So those are like, so this is going to be plus 3a squared. And then I'm also going to combine these a terms, negative 10a plus negative 18a, to give me a grand total of plus a negative 28a. And then we have a minus 60 in there that can't be combined with anything. So that's going to be the result of this multiplication right here. And we did it with that box model. I only wanted to show that to you guys because you might have seen it before, and it might trigger a previous method that you've used before and may have appreciated or liked doing it that way. And so the final answer then is a cubed plus 3a squared plus negative 28a minus 60. And so there's my answer.